I warned people that the US-backed anti-government protests here in Thailand for their March 20th, 2021 rally, that it was going to be violent. The organizers promised you that it was going to be violent. And I've had people say, Brian, all they said was they want to fly paper airplanes over the wall of the palace with their grievances on it. And of course, the organizers knew the protesters would never get that close to the palace. The police would create a substantial security barrier, and then there would be a large number of riot police behind that barrier to prevent the protesters from ever getting that close. So in order for the protest to be a success, the protesters would have to violently dismantle the barrier and then fight with police. And that's exactly what they did on Saturday. They pulled down these very substantial steel shipping containers. Once they were moved out of the way and an opening was made, they went right in to go fight with the police. And they were armed. They had slingshots with ball bearings and glass marbles. That'll do about as much damage as a rubber bullet will. They had Molotov cocktails. They had explosives powerful enough to blow a limb off, because at least one protester looks like he lost a hand when one went off a little too early. They were throwing glass bottles, sections of pavement, and you can see them doing that. They initiated violence, and of course, they've broken the law. They're assaulting the police. They're destroying property in the surrounding area. The police have to do their job and restore order. They charged through the opening that the protesters themselves made. The protesters dispersed throughout the city and that location, and all throughout the night, the police are trying to clear the roads of these protesters, and they're destroying every section of the city they run into when fighting with the police. They're ripping up public and private property, they're lighting fires, and they're clashing with the police. And here are police protecting a group of firefighters trying to extinguish one of the fires lit by the violent protesters. And here are the protesters attacking them and then throwing a bomb into the middle of the firefighters. Here are the protesters going into Khao San Road. This is a popular entertainment district that's been struggling lately because of COVID-19. And on a Saturday night, they had to close all of their businesses because the protesters were using them as human shields in their clash with the police. There's this intersection where a police van was attacked. The driver did not want to speed up and possibly endanger the lives of the protesters, so that gave the protesters the opportunity to savagely beat him and drag him from the van, and then beat him some more. And then the protesters at the crime scene that they themselves created, they got trapped there, and they were fighting with the police for some time at that intersection. And when the police finally got the upper hand and started making arrests, they resisted arrest, so they got the truncheon. And you could see dishonest people like this Eric from Thai Inquirer. A protester was beaten until he was unconscious by the police. And this isn't even the right name of the bridge, by the way. And he's showing this scene here. And when you just show that, yeah, it kind of looks bad. If you don't give any context. A real journalist would give context, and then people would say, well, what did they expect would happen? If you just beat up a cop, destroyed a police vehicle, and then fought with police at an intersection, throwing bombs and Molotov cocktails at them, and then you tried to run away and you were resisting arrest, anywhere in the world the police would beat you with a truncheon or a taser or pepper spray or all three. So this is nothing out of the ordinary. It's not as if the police were just clubbing innocent protesters who were holding placards in the streets. But that's what Eric makes it look like. And if you look at the comments, people are outraged because they're only getting one side of the story. And that's called propaganda, not journalism. And Thai Inquirer, typical of them, I don't even think they pretend to be real journalists. But then you have Reuters, who does pretend to be real journalists. And this is their first paragraph. Thai police used water cannon and charged toward protesters who had gathered near the King's Palace in Bangkok on Saturday to call for the release of protest leaders and demand reform of the monarchy. Now, Reuters saw all of the same things that I just showed you in this video. They know what happened. So this entire paragraph is a deliberate lie. They're deliberately lying and misleading their readers. Of course, the Thai police did this only after the protesters initiated armed violence. This is not reform of the monarchy. This is a movement. And here you go. This was the announcement for the protests on Saturday. This is a guillotine parked outside the royal palace. This has nothing to do with reform. This is a US-backed opposition hiding behind violent street thugs trying to gut the country. And this is what the US has done to so many countries: Libya, Syria, Yemen, Ukraine. They tried to do it in Hong Kong. They want to gut the country or the city, turn it into a dysfunctional disaster to deny America's adversaries, Russia and China, a potential partner to work with economically, politically, or militarily. That's what this is all about. And in Thailand, it's about spiting China, denying China a viable partner in the region. No one else in the English language media, no one from the Western media for sure, is going to report the truth about what happens here in Thailand. Right now, I'm the only one doing it. So please, if you thought this video was useful, like and share it. Think about subscribing to the channel. It helps the channel grow and it's free to do. Check the video description for ways you can help support my work so that I can continue doing videos like this. And as always, thank you for watching.